Ladies, listen up. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. If a man says certain things, you don't just pause and think twice, you get up and walk away. Life is too short to waste on people who don't value or respect you. When a man tells you, I'm not ready for a serious relationship, don't you dare take that lightly. That's not some cute little phrase you can just brush off or try to talk him into changing his mind. No, ma'am. That right there is a flashing red light bigger than a stop sign on a busy highway. It's a clear sign that he is not on the same emotional page as you. And you need to listen to that because it's the truth, even if it stings a little. See, when you're ready to give your heart, your time, your effort, when you're serious about building something real with someone, you deserve a partner who's equally serious. Not a man who's sitting on the sidelines unsure if he wants to jump in or not. You don't want to be the only one out there trying to hold it down while he's busy making excuses about why he can't commit. The moment he says he's not ready, he's telling you loud and clear that his heart isn't in it, that he isn't ready to invest himself in the relationship. And that means he's not ready to invest in you. But here's the problem. Too many women hear this and think, well, maybe if I just love him enough, he'll change. Let me tell you something right now. That's a dangerous trap. You can't change someone who doesn't want to change. You can't make a man ready for a relationship if he's not in that place already. That's like trying to pour water into a cup that's already full. That just doesn't work. You might think, if I just keep trying, if I keep showing up, he'll come around. But what happens more often than not is you end up with a heart full of disappointment and a self-esteem that takes a hit. You deserve better than that. You deserve a man who's walking toward you, not one who's standing still or walking away. You deserve someone who's ready to hold your hand, look you in the eye, and say, I'm all in. And if he can't say that, then you need to stop wasting your time trying to convince him. Because here's what I know from years of watching relationships succeed and fail. Commitment isn't something you beg for. It's something people give freely when they're ready. Now, I know sometimes a man might say this because of things going on in his life. Maybe he's just coming out of a breakup. Maybe he's got a lot on his plate, work stress, family issues, whatever. And while those things are real, they don't give him the right to keep you waiting indefinitely. If he's serious about you, he'll communicate that honestly and give you a timeline. But if he just keeps saying, I'm not ready, with no follow-up or plan, that's a classic stall tactic. And stall tactics are just polite ways of saying, I'm not that into you. You might think, well, maybe he just needs some time. Sure, everyone needs time sometimes, but you are not a placeholder. You are not a backup plan. You are not the maybe in someone's life. You are the main event, and you need someone who's ready to play that role. Don't accept being on hold while he figures out what he wants, because time is the one thing you can never get back. When he says he's not ready, it's not just about him, it's about you too. It means you need to protect yourself emotionally, because if you keep investing in someone who isn't ready, what happens? You get hurt. You get confused. You wonder if it's your fault. You start doubting yourself, and that's not love. That's emotional self-sabotage. You deserve a love that's certain, not a love that's unsure. A man who's ready for a relationship is going to show up consistently, communicate openly, and put in the work. He's not going to leave you hanging, wondering where you stand. If you hear those words, I'm not ready for a serious relationship, don't hear them as an invitation to try harder. Hear them as a warning to protect your heart, your peace, and your future. This isn't about playing hard to get or testing him. This is about respecting yourself enough to walk away when the signs are clear. Because the right man will not hesitate. He won't need a lot of convincing. He won't have to be pushed or prodded. He'll be ready, willing, and eager to be with you. So next time you hear a man say, "I'm not ready for a serious relationship," don't you sit around trying to change his mind. Don't you call him late at night hoping for a different answer. Don't you waste another moment trying to convince yourself that maybe it's different this time. That's a dead-end street. Turn around, pick up your dignity, and keep moving forward. Your time is precious. Your heart is precious. Don't give them to someone who's not ready to handle them. Be ready to say goodbye. Because when you do, you're making space for the man who will be ready. The man who will value you, respect you, and cherish you, just like you deserve. And that, my friend, is the truth about I'm not ready for a serious relationship. Don't ignore it. Don't minimize it. Don't make excuses for it. Respect yourself enough to leave immediately when you hear it, because your happiness depends on it. When a man looks at you and says you're too much or tells you you're overreacting, you need to hear me loud and clear. That's a problem. That's a big, glaring red flag waving right in your face. It's not a compliment. It's not cute. And it's definitely not something you should tolerate, no matter how much you like the guy. Because what he's really telling you when he says those words is that your feelings, your emotions, and your very self are too much for him to handle. And that is not your fault. You have to understand something crucial here. Your feelings are valid. You're allowed to be upset, frustrated, scared, or angry. Those emotions are part of being human, part of loving someone, part of building a relationship. But when a man dismisses your emotions, calls you too much, or says you're overreacting, what he's doing is trying to control you, silence you, and put a limit on how much of yourself you can show. And that's not love. That's emotional manipulation. Look, a healthy relationship isn't about one person having all the power and the other walking on eggshells trying not to upset them. It's about respect, understanding, and communication. If he cares about you, he won't belittle your feelings or make you question if you're too sensitive. He'll listen, validate you, and want to understand where you're coming from, even if he doesn't agree with you, because that's what respect looks like. That's what real love looks like. Now, I know what some people might say. Maybe he's just joking. Maybe he's just tired. Maybe he didn't mean it like that. Listen, I get it. Sometimes people say things without thinking. But if it happens once, twice, or 3 times, then it's a pattern. And patterns don't lie. A man who consistently tells you that you're too much or overreacting is telling you that you're a problem to him, not a partner. And you don't want to be with someone who sees you as a problem. Here's why it's dangerous. When you start believing that you are too much, when you start silencing your emotions just to keep the peace, you lose yourself. You start to shrink your personality, your voice, your needs. You stop being the vibrant, passionate, beautiful woman you are, and before you know it, you're stuck in a relationship where you feel unseen, unheard, and unappreciated, and that's a slow death for your heart and your self-esteem. You have to remind yourself that you are not too much. You are not overreacting. You are human, and your feelings are part of who you are. The right man will celebrate your emotions. He'll embrace the parts of you that make you unique, your intensity, your passion, your sensitivity. He won't try to quiet you. He'll listen. And if he doesn't, then it's time to go. It's time to leave. Another thing to watch out for when a man tells you that you're too much or overreacting is what comes next. Often, these words are followed by gaslighting, a sneaky form of manipulation where he tries to make you doubt your own reality. He might say things like, you're imagining things, or you're remembering it wrong, or you're crazy. Don't fall for it. Gaslighting is emotional abuse, plain and simple. It's a way to keep you confused and off balance, so you stay in the relationship trying to fix something that isn't your fault. When a man dismisses your feelings, he's also sending you a message about your worth. He's telling you that you don't deserve to be heard or understood, and that is unacceptable. You deserve to be loved by someone who listens when you're upset, who holds you when you cry, who respects you enough to work through conflicts without tearing you down. Now, I want you to do something for me. The next time you hear a man say, "You're too much," or "You're overreacting," stop and think about how that makes you feel. Do you feel small? Do you feel unheard? Do you feel like you have to apologize for being yourself? If the answer is yes, that's your heart telling you something very important. Listen to it. You don't have to settle for a relationship where you're constantly apologizing for being real. You don't have to settle for a man who can't handle the fullness of who you are. You deserve to be with someone who encourages you to be your whole self, the good, the bad, and everything in between. And here's the truth. Relationships that are built on respect and love don't make you question your worth. They make you feel confident, supported, and safe. So don't ever let anyone convince you that your emotions are a burden or a problem. Finally, know this. Walking away from a man who tells you you're too much isn't about being dramatic or stubborn. It's about self-respect. It's about protecting your heart. Because love isn't supposed to feel like a battle where you have to shrink yourself to survive. It's supposed to be a partnership where you both grow, support, and cherish each other. So if he says you're too much, take that as a sign to leave immediately, because you are enough, just as you are. And the right man will see that right away. When a man looks at you and says, "I don't want to talk about the future," you better listen close, because that's a sign you don't want to ignore. It might seem like just a simple phrase, but it carries a lot of weight. It's a warning bell telling you that he's not thinking about you as part of his life long term. And if you're serious about building something real, that's a major red flag. You don't want to brush it off or hope he'll change his mind later. You need to understand what he's really saying beneath those words. Talking about the future isn't just about dreaming or making plans. It's about commitment and intention. When a man is serious about you, he wants to picture what life looks like with you, whether that's a year from now, 5 years from now, or even further down the road. He wants to share hopes, dreams, goals, and figure out how to grow together. It's a part of building trust and showing that he's in it for more than just today. But when a man shuts down conversations about the future, it's usually because he's not ready or is not interested in including you in his long-term vision. He might say things like, "Let's just take it one day at a time," or "I don't like to make plans too far ahead." Sometimes that sounds harmless, like he's just cautious or wants to live in the moment. But more often than not, it's a way to avoid commitment. It's a way to keep the relationship casual on his terms, leaving you in limbo. You don't want to be stuck in that limbo, constantly wondering if there's a future or if you're just a placeholder. If he refuses to talk about where this relationship is going, he's keeping you from getting clarity, and that's unfair to you. You deserve to know if he sees you as a partner, a teammate, or just someone passing time. And here's the thing, communication about the future isn't always easy or comfortable. It's a big conversation. But the right man will be willing to have it because he respects you and values your feelings. Even if he's not sure exactly what the future holds, he will be open and honest about that. Silence or avoidance, on the other hand, is a sign that he's hiding something or not fully invested. Sometimes when a man avoids talking about the future is because he's scared. Maybe he's been hurt before. Maybe he's afraid of losing his freedom or messing things up. But you have to ask yourself, is this fear something you want to take on? Because when he's scared to talk about the future, you'll feel that uncertainty every day. You'll never have peace or security. And that can take a heavy toll on your heart. You deserve a relationship where you feel safe, confident, and hopeful about what's coming next. You deserve a partner who's excited to make plans with you, who talks about dreams and goals, who shows up not just for today, but for all the tomorrows. If he can't or won't to do that, then you have to protect yourself and your heart. Remember, love isn't just about good times and fun moments. It's also about building a foundation for the future. And if he's not willing to lay down that foundation with you, then you're building on shaky ground. Eventually that house will crumble. So if you hear him say, I don't want to talk about the future, or you see him dodge those conversations, don't ignore it. Don't tell yourself it's just a phase. Listen to what he's really saying and be ready to walk away if you want to love that lasts. Because the truth is, a man who's serious about you won't hesitate to talk about the future. He won't make you guess where you stand. He'll bring you into his plans and dreams because he sees you as part of his life, not just today, but forever. And that, my friend, is the difference between a temporary fling and a forever kind of love. Don't settle for less than the man who's ready to talk about tomorrow and the days after that. When a man looks you in the eye and says, you're the only one, you want to believe him. You want to feel special, cherished, like you're the queen in his life. That phrase is supposed to be a promise, a declaration that you're the center of his world, the one he chooses above all else. But here's where it gets tricky. Words are easy to say, but actions are what prove if those words are true. And too many women get caught up believing what they hear, ignoring what they see. Let me tell you something real. If he's saying you're the only one, but his behavior tells a different story, you need to pay attention, because actions don't lie. If he's out late and secretive about his phone, if he's not including you in his life like he should be, if you feel like you're always waiting for him to come through or be honest, that's a red flag. That's a sign he's not really meaning what he says. See, anyone can say, you're the only one. It's a simple thing to say, but it takes real integrity to live those words every single day, to show up on time, to be consistent, to respect your feelings, to make you feel like a priority, not an option. That's what separates the talkers from the doers. And you deserve a doer. Now, maybe he's a smooth talker. Maybe he knows exactly what to say to keep you hanging on. Maybe he uses those words to cover up the truth. But at the end of the day, what you really need to ask yourself is, do his actions back up those words? If not, then you're just fooling yourself. I know it's hard sometimes to see it clearly when you're emotionally involved. When you love someone, you want to believe the best in them. You want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But love doesn't mean closing your eyes to the truth. It means being honest with yourself about what you deserve. And what you deserve is honesty and consistency. You deserve to be with a man whose words and actions line up. If he tells you you're the only one, then he should act like you're the only one. That means no sneaking around, no mixed signals, no half-truths. It means respect, loyalty, and commitment shown not just in what he says, but in what he does. Here's the truth that too many women overlook. Actions build trust, and trust builds love. Without trust, those pretty words are just empty promises, and empty promises can break your heart every time. So when you hear you're the only one tested, watch what he does when no one else is watching. See how he treats you when things aren't easy. Notice if he's consistent in his behavior or if he only shows up when it's convenient, because that's when you'll know if he means what he says. If you find yourself constantly questioning his loyalty, if you're feeling insecure because his actions don't line up with his words, don't ignore it. Don't make excuses for him. Don't let hope keep you stuck in a situation that's not good for you. You have every right to expect more than words. You have every right to demand respect through action. And if he can't give you that, then it's time to step away. Remember, love isn't about what someone says, it's about what they do, day in, day out. It's about showing up, being real, and treating you like the queen you are. Anything less is a disservice to you and your heart. So don't let a man's smooth words blind you to his true intentions. Look for the proof in his actions, because when words and actions match, that's when love becomes real. And that's the kind of love you deserve.